19 City.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bow our heads for prayer, please. Dear Heavenly Father, as we convene today, grant us the strength to work together for the common good. May our words be filled with understanding, our actions with compassion, and our decisions with fairness. These words we ask in thy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Noel. We have no special presentations today. Can I get approval on the minutes? Okay, minutes stand without objection. All right, council, if you take a look at your agenda today, and also happy first day of spring. Doesn't feel like it, but it is. We have ordinances on the final reading. All those are in District 7. They are all well. And if there's no objection from council, I'll take A through D as a group, right? Ordinances on the first reading. I believe Brooke has comments for that item.
Yes, the administration would like to ask for a 2-week deferral on the Parks and Outdoors item A. So I believe that would be April 2nd.
Okay, you had another item as well?
Yes, while I'm up here, the Human Resources Resolution, item D, we'd like to request to defer that for 1 week till March 26th.
All right, we got it down, so we'll be looking for those deferrals this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. All right, on the council office, we have a couple of board appointments. And if there's no objection from council, we'll take those two items as a group as well, right? And if you have any comments or questions, please hit your light. Economic development, any comments or questions? We've already covered human resources. We have a planning item. If you have any comments or questions, hit your light. All right, we have public works, and we'll have those in committee today. Items F through H will be taken as a group, if there's no objection from council. And then also in the mayor's office, item I, if you have any comments or questions, hit your light. All right, council, today for purchases, take a look at your 2-week agenda. If you have any comments or questions, please hit your light. Okay, all right, for purchases, we have 4 purchases, 1 renewal today. If you have any comments about those, Councilman Ledford.
Madam Chair, I apologize. I'm going to the March 26th agenda.
Okay,
Item G under Economic Development.
all right.
Dr. Burrs, thanks. I was hoping you were going to be able to join us. You had brought up last week in our new pilot consideration, being able to rehab existing properties that we see all over this city. And I'm not sure that this program, there we are, I see you, Nicole. Nicole, have we made any progress over the last week, or can you give us any insight as to how we can bring on board this program with rehabbing existing buildings? Because I think not to add them into this program is really selling ourselves short. And I think you would probably agree with that, I would assume.
I do, and actually the current pilot and the new proposed housing pilot, both allow for rehab.
So, okay, so what's on board allows us to, not just for new construction, are there any hurdles that you see that might keep us from obtaining that goal?
The biggest hurdle is that the pilot only abates the improved value.
Yes.
And so on a new construction, easy peasy, because you
Yep.
have very little taxes being paid on a green field, and the abatement fills in the gap for the rents. On a rehab project, you're freezing the taxes at the current level so that there isn't as much improved value to abate, and therefore it's not as big of an incentive for developers. So I think what we should do, it's available, it's in the old pilot, the new pilot. But I think that we really need to be more intentional about how we incentivize the rehab of older housing units, especially multifamily housing units. And that's going to take probably a different subsidy that's coupled with the pilot. And I had talked to Councilmember Burrs about putting together a group to think through what a subsidy for rehab might look like in addition to the pilot. So I think it's probably a two-pronged approach, and we need a different tool to incentivize rehab. While the pilot is a tool currently available, it's just not strong enough of an incentive.
And I agree with you from a financial point of view. So hopefully we're still working on that. I know Madam Vice Chair has also been made aware of that. I just think that we really need to take a look at what we have in our inventory. And also maybe even if it's possible to identify, I don't know if we can identify it, structures throughout the city that are privately owned, but maybe within the city's own inventory, as to what we could potentially, I'm kind of taking a proactive approach to this because I mean, they're out there and I think that we're onto something. And I was explaining this to a group of folks last week in a neighborhood meeting, and they thought that we were probably on a pretty good track with the way we're doing that. So I just want to make sure I brought that up, and thanks for continuing the work on this.
We will, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, Councilman Ledford. All right, we have Councilwoman Burrs, followed by Madam Vice Chair.
Thanks, Councilman Ledford. We did talk about this, and just so it's very clear, this new process pertains to existing older structures, rehabbing, and brand new.
Yes, ma'am.
And the problem has to do with the gap that maybe the taxes abated wouldn't be sufficient. And so what I'd be looking for is a package, whether it's grants, whether it's, I think we're pretty good at being innovative, coming up with ways that we can, we have a lot of derelict property around. There's a shortage of land around. We have a lot of people that need homes at all levels. And surely we can get together and figure out a way to incentivize private developers to meet that need at all levels. So I want to thank you very much for that, and thank you, Councilman.
All right, thank you so much, Madam. Thank you, Councilwoman Burrs. Madam Vice Chair.
I appreciate my colleagues' points and just want to reiterate what Nicole said, that we took away from our Affordable Housing Committee meeting last week, that coming up with a renovation type product for our incentives package is something that's important and will be in the work plan in the coming months.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Thank you all so much. All right, thank you, Nicole. I don't see
Thank
any more
you.
lights. All right. Any other questions about the 2-week agenda? All right, thank you so much. We have purchases. Any comments or questions about purchases? All right, if you take a look at future considerations, any comments or questions? All right, council, we do have Parks and Public Works Committee today. Also, we will have an attorney-client following this meeting. So with that, I don't see any more lights. We will turn it over to Councilman Hester.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome to Parks and Public Works Committee. Can we accept the minutes? Madam Clerk, ordinance on first reading. 8A.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 26, Sections 2623, 2628, and 2630, establishing fees for specialty park event reservations, softball field rentals, and Champions Club for Chattanooga parks, community centers, and recreational facilities.
Okay, and it was said we're going to defer this for 2 weeks. Okay. Public Works F, G, and H, please.
Item F, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to award contract number Y-17-005-204, East Lake Community Center improvements and North River Civic Center repairs to John Bryan Construction LLC of Chattanooga, Tennessee, in the amount of $75,892 with a contingency in the amount of $7,500 for a total amount of $83,392. Item G, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to approve change order number 2 with the Tennessee Department of Transportation, TDOT, for contract number T-15-032-101, South Chickamauga Greenway, Youngstown, for extended construction engineering and inspection, CEI, by Arcadis US Inc., for an increase of $192,170.22 for a revised total contract amount of $434,521.05. Item H, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to award contract number F-23-005-201, Fire Training Tower Construction to J. Reed Constructors, Inc. of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in the amount of $1,375,000, with a contingency in the amount of $25,000, for a total amount of $1.4 million.
I see no hands. 8A, please.
An ordinance closing and abandoning an unopened right-of-way in the 500 block of West 35th Street as detailed on the attached maps.
B, please.
An ordinance closing and abandoning an unopened right-of-way in the 2200 block of April Street as detailed on the attached maps, subject to certain conditions.
I, please.
A resolution authorizing the Chattanooga Department of Transportation to erect commemorative secondary street name signs on Market Street from West 26th Street to Ship Avenue, designating said portions of Market Street as Reuben C. Lawrence Sr. Commemorative Street.
Interesting. We have a presentation pickup changes.
Good afternoon, Council. We wanted to give you an update on what our plans are with bulk brush and leaves pickup from April of this year forward. So this is mainly a quick update for you all. So basically, the leaf season will end this month of March. No surprise there, that is as scheduled. The main change is and the big change is April 1st, bulk trash pickup will be by service request instead of by areas. With the period of time that we've had over the last several months with using a area map and schedule, we've had a lot of challenges with keeping up with trash, and people wouldn't always pay attention to the calendar, and our trucks only make one pass by homes, and that would always sometimes trigger people, I need to get stuff out, and the truck won't be back for a couple more weeks, if not a month plus, depending upon time of year. So we decided that it was best to go back to the service request in order to get the pickups faster and not have stuff laying out long. And on the next part, and also with April 1st, brush, we will still stay with area pickup, but what we're going to do different is we're going to have trucks stay in the areas. So instead of having, as Ryan would describe, a bee swarming into one area at a time, we're going to have trucks in every area, 2 to 3 trucks brush at any given point, so there'll always be service moving around. So instead of having the neighborhoods or the residents having to pay attention to the calendar, they will know that trucks will be roaming around and trying to pick up the brush within about a 2 to 3 week period, depending upon workload. And then when we get back to leaf season, we're going to do the same thing with the leaf season. Instead of just doing one area at a time, we're going to have our equipment in every area at the same time, hoping to have about 3 ODBs, as we call them, picking up leaves. So we expect that to be a more efficient process and get better service to residents. So hopefully you won't hear as many complaints as you did this last season. The next slide just kind of reiterates a little bit what I just discussed. The big thing, though, is eliminating the requirements for residents to have to go to a calendar, because that's not very convenient. The last slide I was going to show you is just basically where we are with leaf pickup. Since we're almost done with the leaf season, we've actually exceeded what we picked up last year. Right now we're at about 4,400 tons of leaves. Last year we had 4,300 for the whole season, and we still have about a week and a half to go. So even though we've been plagued with equipment issues, Ricky's team has done a very good job in making sure they were able to pick up the leaves. So kudos to him and his team. So that's just a real quick update that we want to give you, and standing by for any questions.
Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Chairman. Hey, Ross, good call. I think that I applaud the administration for wanting to try something different. We never know until we do. See if something's work. Even today, I sent something in, as you are probably already aware of it.
Yes, sir.
And I think that helps answer a lot of questions. So we can shout it from the rooftops. April 1st, we're going back to, and I'm going to say call 311.
Correct.
Okay. For bulk?
For bulk.
Yes,
sir.
For bulk. I'll make sure that we specify that. part of the reason for doing that was trying out the new system was a savings of cost. Were we able to figure out if that we actually accomplished that goal, or?
Not this time. We don't have those numbers yet.
Okay. So anyways, all right. Well, thank you. If we can make sure, see Times Free Press is here. If you could put that at the headline in bold letters, that would be great. We'll probably reduce the number of emails we're getting. So that's good news. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you.
Good, Councilman Leffert. Councilwoman Hill.
Thank you. You turned me off.
I do it every time. Skipped over
Because you
Chip,
shut me
didn't
off.
I? Yeah, I did. Sorry about
You gotta turn
that.
me back on. Okay, next. One time, there you go.
There we go.
Thank you. Within that headline, I think an important part of the story that I'd just like to shine some light on is what I'm recognizing within this, Ross and Ryan. I thank you for the responsiveness of government, because in this moment, for years, for as long as we've had 311 and people have had brush collected and then that truck going past their neighbors, people have been frustrated and said, why can't we go back to the old system where we just had a day and it got picked up? So we tried that. We experimented with that. You experimented with that, and you saw some things that didn't work very well. So now this hybrid system is interesting, and I appreciate the responsiveness that you all have had as you did that experiment to then say, well, that didn't work as great as the magic wand that maybe some folks thought it would. So thank you very much for continuing to listen and be flexible and adjust your plans.
Thank you.
You good, Councilwoman?
I am.
Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Ross. Help me, so, you can go back a couple of slides or just tell me, we're doing the service request for bulk, but what are we doing for brush?
Brush will still have area services, but we're going to have trucks in every area at the same time. So instead of doing one area at a time, we're going to have trucks in all areas, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, so we still don't call for brush pickup.
Correct.
They'll just be riding around every week in an area.
Correct.
Is that correct?
In every area.
In every area?
In every area.
Okay. All right, and I guess the bulk pickup will be back on the 311 app
Correct.
on your phone? Okay. All right, thanks.
You good, Councilman?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Noel.
Thank you. I think I partly heard the answer to my question. How will the community know of this change? What are you going to do?
We have a press release ready to go.
Okay.
Once we were done presenting this to you all.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, Ross. You guys did try. And I like that B approach too, man. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for what you do and everybody in Public Works. And to Scott, he's not here, but they do a great job too. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Council.
it. What's next? 4:30, we're up. Let me hit this gavel. This conclude. We'll be back at 4:30. We have a attorney-client meeting. Thank you.
I like that.